Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Forstrom. I'm down here. I'm one of your sales representatives at Subaru of Puyallup, Washington. Today we're going to talk about and walk our way through a couple of different ways that you can input information to get you to the right place in your 2011 Outback or Legacy navigation system. Being that we're in Washington, we're going to go to one of the logical places, Husky Stadium. So there's three different ways we're going to search for it. We're going to look at it by point of interest. We're also going to look at it by address, and we possibly might even look at it by phone number. Well, that third one's a question mark, but it is in a lot of scenarios when you're inputting information in these nav systems. Okay, so the first thing you have here, you can see the navigation screen, and this is obviously you fire the car up, you hit agree, and this is where you end up. So to get to Husky Stadium, the first thing we're going to do is hit destination. And another thing I want to make point of is, it may be hard to see in the video, but my finger's pretty close. You want Washington State in the dark green. You'll notice that the western United States, Canada, and Alaska are a light green, and then the eastern United States is white. That's because upon delivery of your new car, you should have got a navigation disc box that said east and west. If you had the wrong disc in, the east would be light green and the west would be white. Beyond that, we have the right disc in, of course. We want to make sure that Washington is dark green. So if your sales representative didn't change this for you and you bought your car in the state of Washington, typically they're preset to California. Don't ask me why, but that's one thing that we need to verify and make sure. It just makes searching and finding your points of interest in streets a little more efficient for you. Next step, back onto Husky Stadium. We're going to go to address. And another recommendation I have here, and no, there aren't many guides anywhere, and it's not rocket science, but I tell everybody to search by city first. So we want to go backwards. You hit city up here. Obviously, we've done some searching in this nav system, so yours, if it's a new vehicle, won't have any cities along in here. So we would have to input a city name, which you would do down here. And then you type in, of course, we're going to Seattle. And it only lets you, oops, an absent, I picked it right away. So then the street number we need to go to, we're going to Montlake Boulevard. And so we're good there. It's going to say Boulevard. So we want to make sure if we're going to Montlake Boulevard Northeast, there we go. And you'll note, the reason you do it backwards is you'll notice that we already know the address we want to program. If it's anywhere outside of this range of 3100 to 4499, we know we've done something backwards or that address may not exist. We know that it's 3800. So here, 3800, okay. And you'll see on the nav screen, that's the icon for a stadium. This is Heckhead, or it's Alaska Airlines Stadium now. Everybody knows it as Heckhead, and then Husky Stadium here. So another thing we're going to look at when you get to this screen, depending on where you're coming from, the route preferences over here. Factory default, there'll be a slash mark through these three corner things, and I'm going to hit it and show you. Allow major roads, allow toll roads, allow time restricted roads, allow the ferry. So let's say I was coming from Bremerton to go to Husky Stadium. The logical route choice would be to take the ferry. Well, if I didn't want to take the ferry because I wanted to take the scenic tour through Tacoma and Fife and whatnot, I would turn these off. And that would disable us from going on the ferry. It would take us other routes. Or if you wanted to ride the ferry, you would disable the other things, and it would show you that as one of your route options. Now, we already know that this is the general area where Husky Stadium is by the icons and whatnot. So then to get the navigation working and plot us routes, you hit the red dot. The screen will show you navigating the routes. It'll give you the option on the bottom. Not all places that you program will allow this, but there's three routes available to us. There's a quick route, an alternate route, and the shortest route. And it'll tell you the mileage and the time on the side. Now keep in mind, anyone that's in the greater Seattle area knows that time up and down I-5 or 167, because this doesn't have satellite traffic up to the minute, that could take you 3 hours during rush hour on a Friday afternoon or vice versa. So somewhat disregard the time that it tells you it takes. That's assuming a perfect storm where you're doing 60 miles an hour up the freeway. So in this case, we just want to get there. We don't want to take a scenic tour, so we're going to take the shortest route available, so we're going to pick the bottom one. And it shows us what direction we picked right there, and then we hit start.
Please proceed to the highlighted route. Then the route guidance will start.
And the car will talk to you and let you know what direction to head. At this point, we just got to go with it. You can get an idea of where it's taking you. You can zoom out. And I can hit this a whole bunch of times at once, but that'll just make it confusing. And it'll give us an idea. It looks like we're going up 161 till we get to I-5. And then you can grab the screen and push up, kind of see what direction you're headed to get a route preview. And you can see that we're going to end there at Husky Stadium. Okay. Option number 2. Actually, we need to go back to remove a destination. Let's say I put the destination in wrong. We go to Menu, and then Route Options. And then here we need to cancel guidance. And this is the same procedure if you don't want guidance anymore, you just want to be a guy and take your chances. Yes, cancel guidance. And we're back to square zero again where we began. And of course the map at this point, it doesn't automatically zoom back to where it was, so we're at the 2-mile viewing range, so we want to zoom back into city streets level. Okay, the second way that we can find Husky Stadium, if you didn't go to the University of Washington, you're not familiar with the area, you're new in town and you just want to go see a game, well, we know it's called Husky Stadium. So the next thing we want to do is hit destination, and it's a point of interest. And here we go to category, and it really depends on how things are categorized. And I'll tell you ahead of time, I've had enough experience with these navigation systems, and everybody has their own things that are important to them. Not all restaurants, not all automotive shops or car dealerships, not all businesses will be reflected in here exactly how they should be. There's a whole bunch of variation in these. So if you do find that one thing that's out of whack or it's not categorized correctly, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with your vehicle. It had to do with the way when the what are they called? The census people went out and took a calculation of addresses and businesses and phone numbers, how they inputted it, and then when the nav company or the company made the disc for these, inputted it into here. So don't panic. You don't have anything wrong with your car at this point on the navigation. So we hit the recreation, and it shows you a whole list of things. Casinos are real popular in this area. Of course, golf when it's not raining, horse racing, marinas, museum, and you just keep scrolling down here. And we're going to a sports complex. The next thing we want to go to is, just to make it a little easier, is we can do city. If we're looking at golf courses, for instance, there's hundreds of them in this state, so that could make it more difficult. But being that it's something, there's only one Husky Stadium, we can go down here in the right corner to list and hit list. And I can tell you already up here, it tells you there's 34 sports complexes in our area that we've picked. So we can scroll down, and you'll see other things that you recognize in there. And here's Husky Stadium. Hit Husky Stadium. If you just filled in with us and you watched us program it by address, you'll notice that we're getting the same basic idea. One thing you'll notice is where it actually picked it on the map is, and it's about a block, but they're actually taking you to the parking lot of Husky Stadium. So again, you hit the red dot, and we have our 3 routes again, and you'll notice that the routes are very similar. And this time we want to take an alternate route. We're going to take the scenic tour. It says quick, but we're going to go up 167. And start.
Please proceed to the highlighted route. Then the route guidance will start. On the way to your destination, there will be roads with incomplete data. Turn-by-turn guidance will not be provided for these areas.
What that means, again, there's nothing wrong with your vehicle. It means that there may be new roads. There may be things that were previously not in place when the system or the maps were being plotted for a particular area. State by state, area by area, they will vary dramatically. So don't panic if you just bought a new home somewhere and your subdivision doesn't show up. Your car will still get there. The maps just won't guide you there. The other thing to keep in mind here is, where is it? In menu, you want to go up to route options. If for some reason the vehicle, you're going down I-5 and it keeps telling you to get off the freeway, you want to hit menu, you want to go up to route preferences, and you want to make sure that you're allowing major roads. We also recently come across a few toll roads in our area with good to go passes. You want to make sure you're allowing toll roads. Time restricted roads, I don't know that we have those, but in the Washington State area, the big one that you want to turn off and on is the ferry. Do you want to allow the ability to go on the ferry? When they're not selected, there won't be a green dot here. My advice is turn all those on, just so it gives you every chance to get all 3 routes and get you there as quick as possible. And then again, when you're done, it recalculates. Same routes are still there. It's just we were showing it a different configuration. Okay, last but not least, we want to see if Husky Stadium, and every address is going to be a little bit different, but can we get to Husky Stadium by phone number only? So again, we need to go to menu, route options. Just like before, to cancel the route you've plotted, you hit the menu button and then go up here to cancel guidance. Do you want to cancel it? Yes. Okay, and then there's a third and final way we want to attempt to guide ourselves to Husky Stadium. Husky Stadium's a little easier to get to than a lot of places, because when you're on 520, when you're on I-5, you can see it. It's a large facility. Let's say you're going to someplace downtown Seattle. It's a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that you've heard about, everyone's talking about, and you want to get there. That's where this third way to search for an address will be valuable. Keep in mind, if the business has gone out of business, if they have an unlisted number or any number of variations there, you will not be able to search by this. That's why we're going to continue searching with Husky Stadium. We know it's not going anywhere. We know that it's easy to see. So what I did is I hit destination, and then I hit right one, because there was 2 pages, and I'm going to phone number. The phone number for Husky Stadium is 206-543-2200. Okay. Okay, and as you see here, I get the Cat Rental Store or I get Western States Equipment Company. Clearly, that's not Husky Stadium. So, in this case, searching by phone number is not going to work for us. Again, there's nothing wrong with your navigation system. It has to do with whether or not they've plotted it as a searchable phone number. So, in this case, we go back. Luckily, we have 2 other opportunities to find Husky Stadium through point of interest and address. I hope that helps clarify a few things today. I'm always available down here at Subaru Puyallup. If you ever have any questions, I'm happy to sit and walk through things. There's a lot of information on here. Some of the basic things are very easy. I can walk through a lot of this on the phone with you, but please feel free, any Subaru owner, to pop in here anytime. I'm happy to sit down and talk to you about it. Thanks again, and look forward to meeting you someday.